Welcome to Style and Confidence, where transformative coaching meets personal styling for business success. I'm your host, Claire Silk, a transformative life coach and a personal stylist, passionate about helping women like you align your inner worth with your outer expression. Each week, we explore how to build lasting confidence from the inside out, so you can show up as your most authentic, empowered self. Whether you're looking to break through limiting beliefs, build authentic confidence and a winning mindset, or create a wardrobe that truly empowers you, you are in the right place. Get ready to transform your relationship with both your mind and your style. Hello and welcome to episode 16 of Style and Confidence, where we explore the connection between personal style and confidence so you can feel fabulous, show up boldly in your life and in your business, and drive your success. Today I want to explore something that holds so many of you brilliant, capable women back: worrying about what other people think. If you're holding back in your business, your wardrobe, or your life because of fear of judgment, this episode is going to help you break free. Today we'll look at why we care so much, how it's affecting you more than you realise, and most importantly, what to do when you worry too much. Growing up, I was told so often not to worry so much about what everyone else thinks, but I couldn't help it. The problem was, this worry about what everyone else was thinking really restricted me. I'd often worry that people would judge the way I looked, what I said, my personality, my results at school, and later on, my ability to do my job. I was so consumed by what other people would think of me that it stopped me showing up altogether. I didn't feel safe to just be me. The thing that probably changed it for me was having children. When you have tiny people who depend on you, there is no room for such worry. You just have to get on with it. I remember going to a toddler group where I didn't know anyone and feeling so vulnerable. It took me a few attempts to actually show up, but I did it. I went along and people were kind. They spoke to me. By doing it and making the move out of my comfort zone, I went along. I enjoyed it. And I ended up making new friends and being part of a community for me and my children. I actually even went on to be treasurer for the toddler group and part of the committee running it. So you just never know what good things might come out of moving past that fear and stepping outside of your comfort zone. Sometimes, when the reason we do something is so powerful, we can push through the fear of putting ourselves out there. Fast forward to now, and I love attending networking events and meeting new people. If you'd have told me as a teenager that one day I'd be regularly putting myself in rooms where I knew no one and I'd be happy, I wouldn't have believed you. Similarly to putting myself out there as a new mum, as a business owner, I have to put myself out there and be visible in order to build my business and my brand. If nobody knew I existed, then I'd never have any clients. The reason we do something hard needs to outweigh the fear we have of doing it. Have you ever held back from doing something because you were worried so much about what others would think? Maybe you've held back from wearing that bold outfit that felt amazing, or you didn't speak up in a meeting because you were afraid someone might judge you. It's very easy to say, don't worry about what other people think. But the trouble is, we do care about what other people think. And we need to a point. The entire purpose of my business is to help women feel good about themselves, so they can go off and build the lives they want for themselves. Quite often, that also involves helping other people. If I didn't care what anyone thought, I wouldn't be able to help people as much as I want to. It becomes a problem when we care so much that it actually prevents us from taking the action that we need to take and that we want to take to drive ourselves forwards. There are two women I find very inspiring. They are Glennon Doyle and Brené Brown. And I have a couple of quotes from them for you. The first is from Glennon Doyle in her wonderful book, Untamed. She says, "This life is mine alone, so I have stopped asking people for directions to places that they have never been." This makes me think of the thousands of unhelpful and often mean comments you see on social media talking about celebrities and their fashion, hair or lifestyle choices. What does the average person know about life in the public eye, or acting in films, or singing on a stage in front of millions? Exactly. So it's not worth listening to those people. This quote from Brené Brown sums this up clearly too. She says, "If you are not in the arena getting your ass kicked on occasion. I am not interested in or open to your feedback. This is part of a longer passage, all of which is brilliant, taken from her book Daring Greatly. The people who are worth listening to are people who have been there, who can guide you and show you the way, people who you admire and feel inspired by. If you wouldn't ask them for advice, don't listen to their criticism. It is unrealistic to completely stop caring what others think, but perhaps we can redirect our focus. This is your life. Listen to people who can help you get to where you want to go. So why do we care so much? Well, the short answer is we're wired for it. It's an animal survival thing. Back in our cavewoman days, being accepted by the tribe was important for survival. If you were rejected, you were in danger. Whilst life is a little different now, our brains still tell us we're in danger if we're not accepted by our tribe and try to protect us. But now you're in 2025, running a business, chasing your dreams and being fabulous. You don't need everyone's approval to survive or thrive. In fact, you won't get everyone's approval, so it's not helpful to try. Yet that little voice in your head still whispers, what will they think? The fear of judgment shows up in subtle ways. People-pleasing, perfectionism, procrastination, minimising yourself or your ideas, as well as dressing down so that you don't stand out too much. Does that sound familiar? A common way this shows up in style is women choosing to wear black so they don't stand out. The trouble is, at the same time, these women often want to stand out in business, so they get their ideas heard, they get promoted, they get clients. If you're invisible, you can't do this. This worry isn't just emotional. It costs you clarity, creativity, and confidence. When you prioritise what others think over what you want, you hand them the steering wheel to your life. Every time you play small to stay likeable, you're chipping away at your authenticity. And when you dress for someone else's comfort, instead of your own self-expression, you're diluting your power. When you silence your ideas out of fear of being too much, you are robbing yourself and the world of your brilliance. This fear keeps you stuck in safe, small and silent. And you weren't born for that. You were born to stand out, take up space and make the bold moves, create the life that you want. So, what can you do when you worry too much about what other people think? Firstly, we can build self-trust. When you trust yourself, outside opinions start to have less effect and your confidence grows. You can build self-trust by setting yourself small, achievable goals, perhaps just slightly outside of your comfort zone, and be sure to accomplish them. Each time you do this, you activate and reactivate neural pathways for self-trust. Try gradually setting yourself goals that are further into your stretch zone each time. 2. Challenge your thoughts. Next time you think, they're going to judge me, pause and ask, do I know that for sure? What evidence do I have that I will be judged? Most of the time, these are thoughts and beliefs that our brain has formed to protect us, but they may not be true, and so challenging them is really important. Our thoughts drive our feelings, which affect our actions and therefore the results that we achieve. So being aware of our thoughts can have a huge impact on our results. And even if people do judge you, their judgment says so much more about them than it ever will about you. 3. Visualize the bold you. Visualizations are so powerful. Close your eyes and take a few deep breaths. Perhaps not now if you're driving, but come back to this later. Create a mental image of the most confident, unapologetic version of yourself. You at your absolute, most authentic best. Imagine the detail. What is she wearing? What does she smell like? Where is she? What is she doing? How does she walk into a room? What kinds of things does she say no to? Try and imagine as much detail as possible of this woman. Now ask, what would she do? What would this bold, confident, you at your best version of you do? And finally, take micro risks. Courage is like a muscle, and you build it with reps. So start small. Wear the outfit you love, but you haven't dared to. Note how you feel wearing it. What did it change? If you can't wear a whole outfit, wear one item that you'd like to wear, but you don't. Speak up in a meeting. How did it feel? What was the impact? And post the social media post. See what happens. Every time you act in alignment with your true self, you're teaching your brain that it's safe to be you. One day, these micro risks will turn into what now seems like really bold action. And this is where our personal style can become our secret weapon. When you wear something that expresses who you are, not who you think you should be, you show up with more energy, magnetism, and confidence. Style is not superficial. It's your visual voice. It's how you introduce yourself without saying a word. So anchor your confidence in something you are wearing. For my clients, these have been things like a favourite dress, a blazer, a red lipstick, a certain perfume, and a statement necklace. Find something that feels truly you and that you feel great in. By finding these pieces that act as confidence anchors, you can start using your wardrobe as a confidence toolkit. Build looks that reflect your ambition, your creativity, your power. And when you feel yourself shrinking, use your style to remind you of the fabulous woman you are. And if this episode feels familiar and you're thinking, yes, I want to be more confident, I want to stop second-guessing myself, and I want to show up fully as me, then I would love to invite you to join me in my Style and Confidence Accelerator. This is my 4-week one-to-one program where we combine mindset and personal style to help you become the most confident, stylish, and unapologetically bold version of yourself. Inside the accelerator, we'll break down the mindset blocks that are keeping you stuck in people-pleasing and perfectionism. We'll define your style that reflects who you really are and that helps you feel fabulous. And we'll build your confidence toolkit so that you can stop shrinking and start shining. If this sounds like what you need, click the link in the show notes to find out more. So let's finish with a little recap. We are all wired to care what others think. This is normal. And it's useful. But it stops being helpful when you worry too much. You can override this though. When you play small to avoid judgment, you give way to your power and compromise your confidence. If you feel that you worry too much and it's getting in your way, take action by starting to build self-trust, challenge your thoughts, and take micro risks to build your courage. And finally, use style anchors for high-stakes moments and as a daily reminder of how fabulous you are. So get out there, show up, and do something outside of your comfort zone today, even just slightly. Whether it's your outfit, your voice, or your next big move, and let me know how you get on. And if you do come across people who judge you, think about if they're in the arena, if they've been to where you're going, or if they're people you would go to for advice. And in the words of Mel Robbins, let them. Until next time, stay bold, stay brilliant, and stay fabulous. Thank you for listening to Style and Confidence, where style meets confidence for business success. If you have enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend, rate, review, and subscribe so you never miss out on our weekly confidence-building conversations. You can also connect with me over on LinkedIn as Claire Silk or on Instagram at Silk Style and Confidence for more style and mindset tips. Until next time, remember, true confidence comes from within. Style helps it shine.